Flash-based games, because Adobe Flash has been dead for like 5 years or so by now, and they're no longer around, but they're essentially the fact of, hey, people can make animation with Adobe Flash, so they can also make browser-based games, and many sites would then use that for those games, especially if they were places associated with like kids IP like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, etc. So they have many Flash-based games that are no longer around since Flash is dead, but also nowadays the equivalent would just be, hey, here's a phone app that it's not the same, but it's just a phone app, microtransactions, stuff like that, but not the same. But there are the games that just try to get you on their website for as possible. So I want to just reminisce with a bunch of them. I saw my friend was a segment talking about Flash games he enjoyed as a kid as well, because, well, a lot of people enjoy the Flash games, and many people wish they were back since they were a good place for kids to have fun online that weren't, hey, try to download a shady app that may or may not blow up your phone kind of thing, you know? One's on top of my head to be a bunch from Cartoon Network's website, such as Candy Machine for N Eddie, which at the time I didn't know, essentially just the game pipes, but with N Eddie's skin, being the fact of you can get more and more points depending on what things you put in the construction when it makes it to the goal. It's just a fun little thing where just seeing animation of the Jawbreaker go through all the stuff and eventually go into the goal, it's just entertaining in itself, on top of actually the puzzle, trying to figure out how to do it, while maximizing score as well, and just seeing the background just change when it comes to the Ed's reaction on whether or not you did it right, or you did it wrong. Also an N80 Flash game member, which was To the Edge Stream. One that was essentially just one big thing taking advantage of extreme sports, in this case skateboarding, and, well, I don't have much to say about this. I just remember it because at the time, the keyboard I had, the C button was broken. So I just remember being frustrated I couldn't use A to C tricks, which felt like you really needed to do in order to maximize your points, so I could never actually make it that far. I remember it more so because I am upset. Also, for imaginary friends, what that comes to mind would be A Friend in Need. This one was, I believe, released before the show actually came out, or the movie it started with actually released. So it's a cool little teaser of this new project they were doing. All those little commercials where just had imaginary friends walking around and not much else, and then explain the context. But it's just this fun little game where you just have Eduardo, Will, and Coco constantly passing back around Blue in order to avoid them being adopted by this mean little girl and everything. This is fun little thing where everyone's just passing them around and everything. This is a goofy little mini game, and damn that girl be fast considering how fast all the characters be going to show. So the whole entire aspect, that's a fun little game that was a cool tease into Fossil Imaginary Friends before it was fully out. Another one I remember that I really shouldn't, but it takes up space in my brain, was the Flash game Wii. It's just a Flash game based on an episode of Flash's Home where we first met Cheese, and it's just a Flash game where it's just Mac and Blue trying to take the cart they made and go down the hill slowly, but otherwise Cheese will scream his lungs off because he doesn't want the rush and excitement to go down the hill. It's just a game we just hold the mouse button in order to have the cart go slowly. There's no actual lose condition, there's no win condition, it's just based on this one specific segment of the show, and that's about it. That's our game. If you hold the button, Cheese goes Wii. If you don't hold the button, he screams his lungs out. Grimball for Grimace, Billy and Mandy. A dodgeball-esque game, except rather than a dodgeball game where you'll play the one avoiding the ball, you're playing Mandy trying to constantly hit Grim with the ball, and seeing all his bones fly out, just every single thing trying to adapt, just trying to get away from Mandy's terror. It's A goofy little Flash game of just seeing how Grimm tries to adapt to a situation as you are playing a Tormentor, when usually the kind of games you'll be playing as the Tormented. Heroes Unleashed for Crypto the Superdog, just a little point-and-click cursor game, which depending on the level, has to do different things, whether it be using the laser eyes, or also trying to protect Streaky. It's just a fun little game that's just taking, hey, Crypto the Superdog, let's just have these little super scenarios, don't really need much to it, and just make it a mouse cursor game where either the beam follows the mouse cursor or Crypto himself follows the mouse cursor and everything. It's a simple little game that I remember, although I'm also remember the cartoon itself associated with, but hey, a basic cartoon game I also remember playing at school sometimes when we were allowed to actually be on a Cartoon Network website for whatever reason. Aigis XLR versus the Universe, another Flash game that I believe came out before the show was associated with, so it's another teaser for a new property coming to Cartoon Network as well, with this one being a side-scrolling action game that as a kid, I did absolutely terrible at, can never make it that far. But it was cool that, depending on which character you picked, there would be different properties to Aigis, on top of the voice lines you would get for the characters, but just a fun little thing where there was variety to it, and it highlighted, hey, here's this cool freaking, gonna be a mech show, gonna be coming to Cartoon Network. And the show was freaking awesome as well, and this was a cool way to tease it, because you play a Flash game, and you see the advertisements for it, oh, that's a game that game based off of, and it would be just cool, just a cool idea, like I mentioned for some of these things, being teasers for new properties that Cartoon Network was getting. Codenamed Kids Next Door, Operation Startup. This one specifically is awesome for the fact you got to play as every one of the operatives. You got to play as each one, not just one, and each one had their own gimmick when it came to how they function, and this was also just a goofy animation. Like, something basic as a stair climbing or stair going down animation was unique for each character, and the fact that they would keep building up and up. I'm pretty sure originally it would unlock weekly by week everything as it kept going up and up until this big final level. So it's just cool that Operation Startup just had you play as each operative, and each one had their own villain associated with it, so make it even more personalized for each character that you were playing as. This is the face of Flash games. This is the one people always remember, and people will still bring up, Teen Titans Battle Blitz. Another one that I believe came out before the show itself was actually on Cartoon Network, and it was a Teen Titans fighting game that kept unlocking characters. That show was weekly, but I know all the characters weren't there from the get-go, but you got to play as each of the characters, including the villains as well, with their own unique quirk, and it's just like I said, the standout one, because they made an entire fun fighting game as a Flash game, and also made it as a way to help tease the show. And when people think Flash games that were on browsers, when it comes to like big Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, they always think of this specific one. It is the face of it, people will still mention it over and over, and it sucks that kids nowadays can't get a cool little Flash game like this, but instead, like I said, you got mobile apps and everything. Over to Nickelodeon Flash games, Jellyfishing from SpongeBob. Just a basic game, you're just gonna catch jellyfish and avoid getting stung. It's simple, to the point, and also highlights SpongeBob's personality and what he's all about. Not much to say about it, I just enjoyed it. Flip or Flop. This one is a game which to make Krabby Patties in order to fill the orders, but it's also the fact that the mayhem aspect of the fact that one, how many Krabby Patties you can make at once, but two, the fact that Patrick would essentially sometimes come in and just eat the Krabby Patty like a jerk. And then it would also make SpongeBob have his angry face for a bit, so he couldn't do anything. So in that time span where it takes SpongeBob to relax, you could actually screw up and start burning some Krabby Patties. So just stuff like that. I remember this one specifically Remember my older sister playing this Flash game, and she was so close to finishing it, and then when she was sucking fish on the last Krabby Patty, freaking Patrick was coming on in, waddling on in to eat the Krabby Patty, and at the same time he came in, the Krabby Patty finished, so he got sucked back out through the door as Squidward came in to pick up the Krabby Patty and to finish it. It was the most clutch thing to happen, where it was just at the last second she managed to complete it, just because just freaking Patrick was trying to ruin everything at the last moment. The X's supreme accuracy. This one mostly remember just because how difficult it is. And I won't know, a lot of the footage is not tagged by who the footage is from. Is my friend playing it because the archives of Flash games, and this one I don't blame him for failing, because I said, this one as a kid was just super difficult, I felt like. It just took forever for me to actually make progress in it, but it is cool as a whole entire Flash game based on going against a Sasquatch from the X's, and you build up to get better and better resources throughout the Flash game. But just, damn, this one requiring a lot as a player just to get past the most basic stuff. So this one, remember, just because of the difficulty of it. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Evil Planet. This game typically has you guiding Leo across the Scorpio planet. Not really reason why, but just the fact of just look at it. Just really look at it. It just stuck out because of how weird it always looked. On top of the fact that every single time you get booted to the level screens, it would always blast every single time. Every single time it would play that opening sting from Lost Galaxy intro. And it is cool that you get to morph and also start using the blaster. This is a fact of just freaking look at it. On top of how goofy it is with the way Leo gets defeated when we fall into the hole, all the traps, everything going on. It's just a goofy freaking game. But hey, I remember it because with a game that looks this absurd and goofy for Power Rangers property, it sticks out no matter what. Digimon Quest to Save the Net, which was based on the Digimon movie, or I guess more specifically, our war game, where the whole game has you going around playing as Agumon or Tentomon. These are two choices for some reason, and you must go around firing emails in order to stop Infernmon. And throughout the game, you do have to answer questions that do give you more power-ups and also Digivolution, which I forgot about that part, and I saw my forget footage, and my friend does not know Digimon at all. I am so sorry, Armando. I forgot that it asks you Digimon questions, and you don't know anything about Digimon. I just remember this being a freaking tunnel shooter where he's shooting emails based on the movie. I didn't remember the part where he got to answer the lore questions, and he was ill prepared for it. But I remember this kid recently, I actually showed my friends the freaking big finale moment from our war game, and told them there was a Flash game based off this film, and it's a Flash game based off this film. You know, the Digimon Flash game, remember, is the Digi-Snake game. Is Digimon, but you play Snake. You eat the gears, and Snake go longer. Pretty sure the Seedramon as well. Seedramon get longer, you eat the gears. It's just Snake. It's just Snake, but hey, I mean, this is the first time I ever played Snake, so get off my back. I just wanted to reminisce about Flash games because of the fact of they're from a bygone era, and they're not exactly an equivalent to those kind of games nowadays. Everything nowadays, either some sort of app, subscription service, or some sort of freaking free-to-play game that wants to take over your soul and wallet, specifically. So it's our aspect, but it's just cool small games to help you remember the IPs that you enjoy, and also remember the properties, the companies that own them. Like, if you gotta go to CartoonNetwork.com in order to play the Cartoon Network Flash games and stuff like that. especially when it came to stuff like Code Kids Next Door, Operation Startup, Time Battle Blitz, we had to keep going back to the site because it would keep updating, keep getting the IP and everything in your mind so you watch the show and stuff like that. Just a cool way of handling it. But nowadays, you don't have an equivalent. And no, there were many more Flash games made past my time. I said I'm super old or something. But I know, but like stuff like late 2000s and 2010s Flash games, but those weren't the ones that I played. There's also even a full list of Flash games that I played. It's just the ones that I want to mention because they're the ones that just generally stuck in my mind, especially Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Evil Planet. Look at it. Freaking look at it! This won't leave your mind! So one entire aspect. So, kind of a shorter thing, just want to reminisce about Flash games, and like I said, from a bygone era. Also, with this video will be my friend reminiscing on Flash games that he also remembered really enjoying as a kid, and that stuck with him because there's so many Flash games out there that I didn't cover all the ones I went through, and the many that he went through that I didn't even know about. That's what I gotta say about the topic? Alright then, go out there, play games. I mean, I guess you can do like archives, play the Flash games as well, so that is still an option through the power of archives, which also shows how important archives and fans backing stuff like this up is, considering the fact that otherwise just vanish as well. I don't have entire videos out there just dedicated specifically to certain Flash games. It's freaking cool, and there are ways to archive them. That's why archival is important. Alright, like I said, go out there, play games, Flash games, or not. Or maybe there's some cool apps nowadays for certain problems that are actually pretty dope. I wouldn't know. Alright then, good day. Changed my mind, adding 2 more Flash games to this video, one of which I have to mention is the Lilo & Stitch 625 Sandwich Stacker Flash game. It is a basic Flash game where you just have 625, or later down the show, reveal his name is now Ruben, end up making this whole entire sandwich with just so many things you can pile upon it. You're just trying to essentially catch stuff that's falling from the sky, while also trying to balance it properly in order to beat each level. It's just a simple little Flash game, but it is one that also is generally a face of Flash games, depending on the person. Teen Titans 1 is the one that people think of the most, but this with the Sandwich Stacker is also seen as one of the greats that people will remember if you bring up the topic of Flash games everything, because then, simple premise of stacking everything, but the fact that it's sandwich based and on the Disney Channel with the Lilo & Stitch animated series as well makes it more recognizable with this style of Flash game. Also, because I finally found this one I remember playing on Newgrounds one day. This game's called Classroom, which only recently learned that this Flash game Classroom had 2 other entries. I remember it mostly because of just the whole entire premise of it being a Flash game where it's all about taking a test and trying to cheat on the test, everything, and trying to avoid getting caught by the teacher. But it's also just for some of the more 2000s Newgrounds edgy humor in it. Because one level I remember had to do with a student who could handle the pressure of the exam and just completely jumped out the window, which your prerogative as the player is to just immediately cheat off your friend if the teacher is distracted. But looking at more stuff when it came to this Classroom series of Flash games, it just got more and more ridiculous and absurd. Now, once again, is epitome of the 2000s Flash game edginess with this. People put it, can't have a freaking Flash game in that era without some casual terrorism in it, I guess. So I want to mention this one just because I always remembered it, but never knew what it was called. I recently Googled to find out what this Flash game was. Surprised that it had 2 other entries I didn't even know about. Bobo's Big Adventure was one of the most, probably the most insane Flash game I ever played. The fact is just, it took this character Bobo, I believe from Double Dragon, it's like a boss character, and then made an entire Flash game where he's going through an entire adventure trying to get his son back, and the adventure spans and parodies so many different other games from that era, specifically Nintendo Entertainment System era, which just goes through so many different kind of games trying to fit a Bobo in that playstyle, and also make it more ridiculous because you're playing as a Bobo, whether he does things that you can't do in that game entirely, or just the fact that it's also a bloodier, more violent adventure and everything. Like, this game is just so crazy how it goes through. I also like how, I believe in the balloon fight level, you're able to just skip the level. They even tell you after you beat the level that you could have skipped it the entire time, kind of thing. But it's just a super crazy adventure and everything. Seeing the plot of who took a Bobo and everything, it's just one of the most insane Flash games I ever saw in my life, and then I played it and it was just as freaking crazy. And yeah, Bobo's Big Adventure, of course, needs to be mentioned here. The Room Tribute, or The Room the Game. This is a Flash game based off the movie The Room by Tommy Wiseau. So not only is it just a point-and-click game, they also have brief moments where you do go into like different kind of game modes for little mini games, such as when a fight happens, it ends up more tributing the style of Pokemon, or this little mini game where you're just racing in the park, you have to just try and jump over obstacles. It's a very simple game. This is the fact that The Room is already a movie it's constantly made fun of because of how ridiculous it is, and this Flash game not only captures ridiculousness, it also tries to fill in plot holes or inconsistencies that the film had in a way. So it's just cutely decided, you know what, this thing didn't make much sense, let's try to fill in the gap ourselves. But the main reason I remember this Flash game, not only for the game's ending that goes in a way that's completely different than what the film did, but also this section towards the finale, where the entire game you have Tommy constantly reaching this, Johnny reaching this anger point where you see the letters start forming to form how angry he's getting throughout the entire narrative, and there's a point where it fills up and you get to just go around the entire world of the game just doing all this crazy stuff due to the rage that Johnny's feeling and everything. Just the ridiculous stuff that they do just for this goofy little finale of, well, he's completely mad, so time for him to just unleash his anger on all these people and everything. It's just completely goofy and fun, and just the idea you took a film like The Room, like I said, panned just for how goofy it is, everything. Tommy Wiseau's acting, being really goofy and everything, and then decided, let's just have fun with this, and have fun with it. They freaking did.
Daymare was a random Flash game that I stumbled upon when I was in my younger days, and it is somewhat unnerving. I don't really remember the plot because it's been like, you're talking about like nearly 20 plus years since I've played this. I think there are like multiple, like probably 4 or 5 of these games, but I only ever really played 1 and a little bit of 2. I don't really remember the plot. It's kind of like you're just in this weird town, and I guess, I guess by the name Daymare, you're probably just having a nightmare and a date, whatever the fuck, I don't know. But I just liked it. It's basically a point-and-click adventure, you know, solve a few puzzles here and there, see some slightly unnerving things here and there. It was just a fun time waster, basically. Like, I didn't really look that deep into it, you know. Flash games weren't really that meant to be storyful. It's just, you know, to kill some time, probably like speed through 10-20 minutes max, you know. The Batman is a variant of Batman's story, animated wise, which appeared on Cartoon Network, I believe, in like the mid 2000s, probably 2005, 2006. I can't specifically recall. Again, it's been nearly 20 years, if not already 20 years. I really enjoyed the show, and I remember playing this a lot on Cartoon Network website back in the day. Again, just another fun little time waster, and you know, it's Batman, so I'm like, hey, I know that guy. But yeah, it's just like a mini story. You fight Penguin and some other people. I don't really remember much. I remember somehow how to play it, like it's a little bit there, but then like the majority I kind of forgot how to do and stuff like that, but it's fun regardless. Again, just another nice cool time waster in childhood. I grew up watching Ben 10, and the fact that besides the one that I also played on the PSP, this one had let you access all the aliens, you know, at that time, because later on he got some new ones like that plant and Cannonball, and I kind of forgot the ones he got later, but these are like the originals. And when he still had Ghost Freak, and if nobody knew, Ghost Freak was voiced by the same guy who did Orochimaru Naruto, which I caught that on very early. I was like, is that Orochimaru's voice? Steve Blum, is it? I'm not sure. But yeah, you transform into all the aliens and you go into different levels, and it's kind of like a side-scroller type game. It's been a while. Again, it's been a while with like a majority of these, at least the ones I've played. But again, another cool childhood time waster. Ed and Eddie Clash of the Idiots was another fun childhood time waster game I played. It's pretty much automatic. You just choose what moves you want to do, and then like it just auto does it for you. I mean, I didn't really have to press anything as far as I was concerned. But yeah, just another one of those goofy, hey, I watched a show on Cartoon Network and oh my god, they made a Flash game of it. Pretty cool. Courage the Cowardly Dog Creep TV was another cool childhood Flash game. You basically have to save Muriel and Eustace because they got warped into the TV, and now Courage has to find a way to throw himself into the TV and save them and get them back into the real world. It's like, it's another point and click one, but then you also have to do like pauses and stuff, and I don't know what genre to class it as. It's pretty much, I'm just gonna keep saying my repeated phrase throughout this session. It's just another fun childhood time waster Flash game. Kids Next Door Operation Stat is a very beloved Flash game that I like. Basically, in this one, even though this is a Kids Next Door game, you do crossover with other cartoon IPs of the same channel. So you need to, the main premise is that you need to scourge materials throughout the different IP realms to create a stable satellite. So not only do you do Kids Next Door's realm, you also do Powerpuff Girls realm, Ed and Eddie's realm, Dexter's realm, and Courage the Cowardly Dog's realm. And what I really like about this one is that literally everything is interactable, whether it be like the main items you have to collect or like items that just like have little fun gags and side effects and stuff like that. Everything in this is interactable, and there's cool nods and references to different parts of the show if you were a fan or watched them. It was, I liked repeating playing this a lot during my childhood era. I never got bored of this because it was just, it felt magical. It felt really magical. You could tell there was a lot of love and care put into this simple Flash game for its time. It was very full of love and care. Scooby-Doo Creepy Castle was another cool Flash game I played as a kid. I remember seeing the cartoon when I was younger, both the reruns of the original from the 70s and then the 2000s, the What's New Scooby-Doo one, and like even the other one where like they were all kids. I don't remember the name of that one. But that was fun. I enjoyed Scooby-Doo, grew up with that one, both the old and the new variants at that time. And seeing, you know, there was a Flash game of it. There were multiple Scooby-Doo Flash games, but this one really, I thought I was more fond of the most was the Creepy Castle one, as opposed to the other Scooby-Doo Flash games that are available on Cartoon Network at that time period. It was very fun, very interactive, very cool. I liked it. Teen Titans One-on-One is another Flash game of the Teen Titans that was on Cartoon Network. You basically choose whoever you want to play as, and they go against their respective enemies that they fought against. It was pretty cool. I remember I got stuck in one of them, which was, I think it was Beast Boys level. I can't recall, it's been a while. It was with the machines. There was something with machines that I kept getting stuck on that level. But, you know, everybody has their own gimmicks. It was very cool. Another cool time waster. I don't really got much to say about it. Just mindless fun as a kid, you know? Mind Me Bloody Beer, or as it was used to be called on the website when Flash was still working, Hold My Pint. I don't know why the name has changed here. But regardless, it's the same game with the same premise. You basically... It was a random game that I just found on the internet randomly because, like, I wasn't only just bound to Cartoon Network. I eventually skewed my way through the main web and found different Flash games. You know, some child-friendly, some not child-friendly. But little me didn't know the difference. I was just like, this is fun. So... You basically have to try your best to hold this guy's beer because he's drunk, and it gets harder as the seconds increase. The shaking and the blurriness to, I guess, symbolize drunkenness gets more intense, and eventually you'll just spill it. I liked it because I liked both winning and losing in this game. Winning, well, I never really won. There was, I don't know if winning is possible because it gets a little hard after 30 seconds. But I found losing funny because if you wiggle your mouse in a precise tone when you lose. You can see the dude's body just like flailing over, like one of those Family Guy gag cutaway segment thingamajigs. It was very funny. I just liked it. Again, another fun time waster as a kid. Whack Your Boss was definitely not a kid-friendly game, but yet I found my way to it. And I'm not gonna lie, the aspect of seeing blood in the game, it was a paradox. It both shocked me and also intrigued me. I don't remember exactly how old I was when I first stumbled upon Whack Your Boss, but I know I was like, I would say I was definitely below the age of 10. Maybe I was 9 or 8. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so the premise of this is, you are a frustrated office worker, and I think your boss is telling you, like, he's gonna, like, downsize you or fire you or some shit like that, and, you know, it's time to take out your frustration on him. Now, you know, all that flew over my head as a kid, because I'm just like, what? You know, I didn't understand job or corporate speak. But, yeah, so it's very interactive, but you can interact with almost every object there and choose how you want to harm and essentially end up killing your boss. My two favorites were the chair one and the wall one. Oh, and the garbage can one where he's like, you're fired, and then you keep hitting him and he's like, I'm gonna have you arrested. He just keeps kneeing the shit out of him. Yeah, it was definitely something you shouldn't play as a kid, but you know what, we all did stupid shit that we shouldn't have done when we were a kid, and again, I enjoyed it. It was a nice little fun time waster. The Henry Stickmin series was originally a Flash game before they brought it over to Steam as a complete collection. So everything besides completing the mission, because that's an original made for Steam, but the ones before that were all original Flash games. I enjoyed the Henry Stickmin series a lot. It was very cool references. Some I got, some I didn't get at that time. It was cool to see, and obviously when they brought the collection over to Steam, they had to change it due to, you know, licensing and all that. But it just goes to show you the unrestricted amount of freedom creativity that we just had when it came to Flash games back in the day. But it was very cool nonetheless. I enjoyed the entire series of it. And it was just endless hours of fun. I would repeat it nonstop. I would never get bored of it. Metroid Genesis is a Flash game of Metroid, and Kid Me didn't know that. Kid Me thought, like the games on Cartoon Network, that this was an official thing. So I took it like, oh, this is part of the Metroid game chronology, all that. But no, it's just a Flash game fan-made thing. But it's fun regardless. It's very short. You can probably beat this in like less than 5 minutes. I kid you not. Yeah, so it's just a simple premise. You go investigate a place, and Ridley took a sample, and you gotta go get the sample back from Ridley, etc., etc. Very short, very fun. You know, just another example of fun, mindless childhood time-wasting activity that I greatly enjoyed. Dragon Ball Z Flash Dimension is another fun Flash game, but it's only 1 versus 2 player, and this is back in the day where you would have a friend with you physically, and you guys would use the same keyboard. One friend would use the left side of the keyboard, while the other friend would use the right side of the keyboard, and that's how you two would play cooperative multiplayer games physically in the same household using the same controller keyboard device thing back in the day. Now for me, obviously I'm fighting myself here and it's not going very well. I also forgot like half the controls of this game because again it's been 20 something years. But yeah, it's fun, very short. I'm pretty sure the sprites are ripped from Hyperdimension or something. I'm unsure. I haven't really played much old Dragon Ball Z games. Roster's kind of short. All you have is Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Majin Vegeta, Cell, and Frieza. And yeah, it's just the average short Flash game fight 'em style thing. It's fun, you know. Bloody Rage, it was a fever dream of a Flash game. It's basically just, what if we throw a bunch of IP shit together and call it a game? You know, you could say probably that's like a fair comparison about the majority of Flash games. I don't know. But yeah, this one was a doozy. So in this one, it's basically Mortal Kombat, but with IPs. So you have Ken from Street Fighter, Goku from Dragon Ball Z, I guess Fist of the North Star. I don't know who that character is, really. Spider-Man, Jason, Freddy Krueger, a Stickman figure, Yoda from Star Wars, I think that's Bruce Lee, Hulk, Scorpion, Optimus Prime, Wolverine, Tekken, Blade, Lara Croft, Cloud, and Superman. And it's nothing really that unique. I mean, like, the character designs are alright for a Flash game, and you can tell by Lara Croft's design it was, you know, meant for that era. But nobody has unique movesets. Everybody has, I kid you not, the same move, and everyone does like a spinny kick and like the, what is it, the uppercut Hadouken or whatever the hell it is called. Like, nobody has a unique moveset. Everybody uses the same move mechanic. I used to do construct mode and just like grab bits and pieces from characters I would know and recognize and just have my own like Frankenstein hybrid type thing. But it's, you know, it's another cool fun time waster. Flight of the Hamsters was a fun Flash game from Kids Next Door. You basically are just traversing as much distance as you can cover using the hamsters and collecting cool power-ups on the way to try to extend your flight time and all that jazz. And this one was probably one of my most favorite time wasters of the Flash games. I would just play this for hours just trying to see how far, how much I can push how much ground I can cover in this game. It was very fun, and it really helped me burn a lot of time as a kid. The Sagittarian was a unique choice-based zombie game back in the day. Like, this predates Telltale's Walking Dead and all that. These are just Flash games before Telltale Walking Dead. I really enjoyed it. I think this is where I started getting my love for choice-based games in general, because this also predates me playing Mass Effect, because I know Mass Effect 1 came out in 2007, but I got my first console in 2008, and I did not know about Mass Effect until a friend introduced it to me in, like, way later, probably in, like, 2013, 2014 is when I found out about Mass Effect. But, yeah, so this was pretty much my first exposure to choice-based aspects in video games, and I really enjoyed it. There's, like, about 4 or 5 of these, because, like, it's 1, 2, 3, and then there are 2 4s, because depending on the ending route you choose in 3, it can lead to 2 separate paths. So the creator went out of his way to make 2 separate games for the different branching paths that you did, should you have chose them. It was pretty cool. I like the Sagittarian series. I like the characters and all that, and it was very in-depth and detailed for a Flash game. I was really, really into it, and I liked it a lot. Road of the Dead was a very cool zombie Flash game that I played back in the day. There are 2 of them, Road of the Dead 1 and Road of the Dead 2. But I really mostly played Road of the Dead 1. You basically are just a mechanic who overhears the outbreak of zombies through the radio, and your goal is to get the hell out of the city. And this was a very fun game. You're basically driving around, trying to get out of the city, trying to avoid hitting as many zombies as you can, because your car will eventually break down. Avoid hitting alive people by honking your horn so they also don't damage your car, and also not only avoiding debris, cars and people and zombies, you're also trying to avoid the military that are targeting you, because they have orders not to let any civilians get out of the city, but you're ignoring that. So they see you as a potential threat, and they're trying to gun you down as well. And this game is very cool and forgiving, because should you even like not complete a lap or die or whatever, you can just use whatever points you gathered for how long you last in here, and use that to upgrade your car, give it more durability, give it more speed, more gas, etc. And yeah, you just basically upgrade and continue going at where you left off. And it was a very fun game, and I definitely spent a lot of hours playing this. The Last Stand Union City is another beloved zombie Flash game that I loved playing and spent absolutely a lot of hours on and replaying it. I played as both a male character and a female character just to see the different outcomes, but they all end the same. So basically your goal, and you can also, like, you know, assign attribute points or make your own classes, something. They have a level up system like a RPG. It's very cool. Basically, the goal is that you're coming home from work when all hell breaks loose, and your goal is to find your significant other. And spoiler alert, you know, in case anybody has genuine interest in playing this game that's decades old at this point, your beloved one is infected, and you don't want to accept that, so you take them anyway and escape on a boat and get the hell out of the island. But halfway through, the boat breaks down and you hear a growling, signifying that your beloved one has become a zombie, and that's pretty much how the game ends. It's unfortunate, but, like, you know, it kind of also shows the lengths one would go to rescue their beloved one in this game. But regardless, it's fun. It's a very good time waster. I enjoyed replaying it. I enjoy giving myself different points, classes, all that. The weapons are cool, and you could also, like, take a companion with you as well. So it would be 3 of you. It would be you, your beloved, and a companion. So that was pretty cool. All Monsters Attack, a Flash game, Powerpuff Girls game where you play as the mech robot suit versus monsters. It's been quite a while since I've played this. I remember I used to do a special where they would shoot rocket launchers, but I don't remember how to do that. It's been too long. But yeah, it's the basic premise. It's just, you know, 1v1 fighting game. You can play with the bot like I was doing, or versus the same player using the same keyboard. It's a very cool and fun game. I really played it a lot. I wish I remembered my missile combination, but I don't. And the last one I want to mention is Foster's Home Simply Smashing. It's basically, I don't know what type of game genre you call it. I call it stacking the dishes type game, because you have to try to score as much points as possible and not let all the kitchen stuff break. So I remember I would try to see how much I can stack within the frames, and also what's the highest score I can go. So it seems to be endless as far as I was concerned, so I would always like force end the game by just letting all the dishes drop and letting the headmaster, I forgot his name, it's been a while, just scold me saying, how dare you, and all this and that. It was a very fun game, another one that I would recommend for time wasting fun goodness.